after SHS, marriage was the deal. There was no conversation whatsoever.
Okay.
After senior high, you will get married.
And you dreaded that yourself?
I hated it to the core.
Now, there are days that you can actually tell when a presenter maybe is too much into an interview. Maybe one of those days is what you're going to experience on Say It Loud here on Ghanaweb TV. My name is Atisu. I'm excited because I have a guest, and she's the first. She's just made history. Her name is Fati Ali. Fati is the newly elected SRC president of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, and we've been able to drag her out of her sick bed. She wasn't too well, but we'll get her to have a conversation. Welcome aboard. Let's have this conversation now. Fati, how are you?
I'm good, Etsey. Yourself?
I'm very well. And congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel so far?
Well,
It's been how many days? How many days? Few days after the election on the 11th, right?
yeah, it's not even been a week yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a roller coaster.
Roller coaster. What kind of messages are you getting? People congratulations you. I mean, it's the first, right? What kind of messages?
Well, like from people I do not even expect. I must say I appreciate all of the messages, and I'm super, super excited.
Now, it's a new wave, I believe. The KNEST one. There was a time where even across the universities, the chancellors or vice chancellors were women. It seems to be an age. The times where we used to say that if you train a woman, you train a whole nation. Seems to be coming to fruition now. Is that how you feel from the KNEST one? Now you also being the first ever female to lead the school's SRC presidency. How does that make you feel?
Well, to me, it's not about this whole wave of women taking over, but I want to believe that people are now starting to realize that capabilities are not gender specific. Competence is not gender specific, and that leadership roles are not just for men. You know, I'm excited that now everybody knows that everybody's starting to believe that yes, it is not a thing of being a man or a woman, but then a competence thing, a capabilities thing. So it is about who can do the job best, regardless of gender.
Who can do the job best? What did he tell the GIJ people about being able to do the job best for them to have reposed such confidence in you? First of all, let's look at the numbers. How well or not did you do?
Well,
how many contenders, first of all, were they?
Well, we were 3.
Okay,
from the
2
start.
other fully packed men.
But after vetting, 1 was disqualified, so then it left to 2 of us. The margin was 51.2% against my contender.
So you had 51.2.
1.2%.
And then your contender had what?
I think 48 points. I'm not really sure that.
That's a good win. At least you got a 50 plus 1%. But what did he tell the school?
Well, you see, after I made up my mind to contest, I engaged the students because, I mean, SRC is student representation, so we are doing this for them. I engaged them, found out what exactly is it that worries them. What is it that they would want to see in an SRC? I engaged them in dialogue. So from the start to the end, they were all involved in the campaign. The messages that were crafted were their messages. All of these were things that they wanted. I did research. We did surveys, asked them, what is it you would want to see in an SRC? So it wasn't more like me campaigning to them, but then
it was just
a collective vision that, okay, we can do this together.
What were some of the things that
I said to them
they wanted that you trumpeted?
Okay, so we had the discussion of a bus.
Okay.
Yes, you know.
What happened to the Mascarello?
What's that?
There's an old school bus that used to be on campus.
Oh, it's still on campus.
It's still on campus. Okay.
Yes.
Was become too small?
Yes, you know, now we have 2 campuses.
Okay.
And because it's a non-resident school, some of them stay up late and some too come from very far places. And so the bus is something that really, it's a thing of concern, because if we get the bus now, it makes movement easier.
Easy
and
for them.
sometimes even when we have seminars, when we have forums and symposiums, it would make it easier for transport and everything. So this was one of it, and a studio, a TV studio, and we already have a radio studio, so we were looking at the TV studio. You see, the GIJ students are more interested in building their capabilities outside the classroom.
Okay.
You see, so it was more or less like their campaign as much as it was mine. Like, they believed in the vision that this is what we all want as students. So it wasn't like me just going to sell to them my message.
And you've been able to do that. Now you are SRC president. Is it elect? Have you officially been sworn in?
No.
Okay.
Elect.
But you look forward to a very successful reign. It's for a year, right? Yes. Everyone has a story. I want to take you back. I mean, Fati Ali until now, well, we only saw the buzz on social media after the election. Maybe let's get to know you a little better. Where are you from? Are you one of those kids with silver spoon, or yours was a golden spoon? That was. Tell me, what's your story?
Well,
You're trying to find your words, eh?
yes.
It takes you back. Let's see. Where were you born?
So I was born in Kaswa, actually.
Okay.
I was born and bred in Kaswa. I'm
Okay.
Fulani. I come from a home where, after SHS, marriage was the deal. There was no conversation whatsoever.
Well, you were offered the option to go into marriage. Not option, you were asked to marry.
Oh no, I grew up in that environment where
Okay.
I've seen my elder siblings. That was so, at a point, I even questioned high school, like, is it worth it if I'm to go through all of this just to get
Oh, so you're referring to the fact that the highest level of education for your siblings was what,
Exactly.
senior high?
Exactly. So
Okay.
after senior high, you will get married.
And you dreaded that yourself?
I hated it to the core. I always told myself, no, this won't be my story. I won't toe the same line as them. But then as to how to do it, especially when you're in an environment like that, and that is all you see around you, who do you go to? So I mean, it wasn't easy. Yes, it wasn't. Even going to high school wasn't easy, because at some points, my people were still like, if you would go and then come back to get married.
Which senior high school did you go to?
I went to English Yamanfu, senior high. Yes.
Okay.
I've not been to the best of schools, but yes, we are here.
But you're here.
After high school, I wanted to be a doctor, actually. Yes, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon.
Okay.
But I realized.
What took you to GIJ?
Yes, I'll come to that. So, you see, I've always had this passion for reading. Like,
Okay.
I read a lot. But I wanted to do science when I went to high school. So I pursued science, but in between classes, I would still be interested in reading and all of that. So I realized, no, this may not be my thing. This whole doctor thing may not be my thing. Maybe journalism would be my forte. So after school, I went to teach. I taught science and maths at Beacons of Light International School.
We're here in Accra.
In Kaswa.
Oh, also in Kaswa. Okay.
Yes,
Kaswa is Central Region.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Even at that time, I still didn't have any hope of going to the university. Yes, I knew that was not the story for me, but I didn't know how to continue.
Okay.
So I was just the one that just bought GIJ forms.
On your own?
Yes, I bought the forms. I didn't even know how to fill the forms. Somebody actually did it for me. And after I bought the forms, that was it. I didn't think much of it till I had a call one day from GIJ that, oh, you've gained admission. I didn't even know who to tell, because I didn't tell anyone at home that I'm buying forms. Now it became a struggle again.
Because you had gained admission, but how you were going to get to school was another one.
And I've not told anybody at home that I'm even buying forms. You see, so it was a struggle. I came to GIJ, first 2 semesters, I was very quiet, and not really involved in student politics, but I was observing.
Okay.
I was really observing, and I realized, no, the students are losing faith in the SRC, and there were many things that needed to be corrective.
Let me just draw you back a little before we get back to the GIJ story. Now you gained the admission.
Yes.
How did you convince your parents to pay for you? You were breaking a jinx in the family.
Yeah.
You were going to break a ceiling of girls in the family not going beyond senior high school. How did you get them to agree that this is a good move to make?
Well, I just sat my people down and I told them that I want to take this step. I want to go to school. Well, it was mixed. Some were happy, some didn't take it lightly. But for me, if I set my mind to do something, I would do it. Mm-hmm. So far as I know what it means to me, I would do it. So my main aim was just delivering the message and not the response. So yes, I delivered the message. I got my brother to pay my fees for me, and I started GIJ. At that time, I was not even in a hostel. I was going and then coming.
So it was your brother who actually
paid my first school fees for me. He paid. He believes in me, and he thinks no.
Are you the last born? Or you are somewhere in between?
No. I'm the only female.
Oh, you're the only female. Okay. Yes. So these other people are what, your cousins,
my
your other
family, my mom, and everybody.
Everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Your brother believed in you.
Yes, my brother has always believed in me.
Interesting.
He has always believed in me. But
and then you found your way to GIJ.
I found my way to GIJ, and in GIJ too, I didn't stop. I didn't take the back seats. You see, when I realized things were not as they were supposed to be, I started championing in my own corner. However I could help my colleagues, however I could help my juniors, I did that because I believe development is collective. Mm-hmm. You know, if you sit in your corner and then expect it to happen, it won't happen. My story really inspires me that
your own story inspires you.
Yes, it really does, and I found a way to connect it to the GIJ story, such that regardless my background, like, I persevered and I got here. Mm. And in the same thing, I believe that with GIJ, the better GIJ SRC that we all seek, we would get there.
We'll understand more of that and all the other beautiful things that you did along your journey to get to this point. And of course, the future, we'll talk about other things about women empowerment and all that when we return from this short break. This is still Say It Loud here on Ghanaweb TV. We're back in a bit.
I want you so bad, I'll fuck like I want you. I wanna say yes, I can't resist. I want you. Ooh, I want you, alpha cracker. I want you so bad, alpha cracker. I don't make one kasa.
Have a goodness rich in milk and butter, in alpha cracker. Yummy and deliciously crunchy.
But I can't resist you.
Alpha crackers, simply irresistible.
This advert is FDA approved.
I'm having a conversation with Fati Ali, the first ever female SRC president of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. Fati, so now you are in GIJ, you are schooling, you are observing things from the background. Things are going well for you, and then you notice loopholes and all that. Tell me, everything else that was happening with you as a student, young student, and to the point where you took that decision that you wanted to get into leadership.
Okay, so in first year, I had an aspirant approach me to be his running mate, but I wasn't too sure because being your running mate, so I backed off, but I helped one way or the other. So that was when I started understanding the ecosystem. Okay. I started appreciating things, and I realized that no, there's a lot that needs to be done, because you realize the students has lost faith in an SRC, in the SRC, and you see, in democracy, every faction should have a voice. and in our case, the SRC. And then if the students are losing interest, who is going to have the voice? Who are you going to advocate for?
Okay.
So it made me realize that no, we need to do something. I started helping in my own way, but still aiming for the presidential portfolio was not even in my mind. I didn't even have the aim to contest for a portfolio. For me, I was just interested in helping.
Talk less of even the highest, which is presidency.
Yes, you see me, I believe that you do not necessarily need a portfolio to serve.
Okay.
You don't need to have a title to lead. You don't need to have a title to serve people. But then as the going got tough, I realized that the best way, sometimes when you have the portfolio, it makes it easier for you to reach certain conversations and then certain negotiations. So I made up my mind that, well, let me contest for the presidency because the vision and the best way I want to help the SRC, I think the best office for me would be the presidency.
I see. Now you have won the election. For the next year or so, you're going to be the president of GIJ's SRC. I want to understand how your lecturers have related with you all this while, and what kind of support you get from them.
They've been very supportive.
Okay.
Very, very supportive of the dream and the vision. Because you see, when we started, it was a hurdle. I mean, our community says that if you're a female and you're championing student affairs, automatically people think you're contesting for Women's Commissioner. So explaining to people that, no, I'm not contesting for Women's Commissioner, but President was also another hurdle we had to cross.
Tell me about the hurdles. What did people discourage you?
Oh, yes.
What kind of things were people telling you?
Yes, but I think they did not discourage me from the point that they didn't want me to contest, but to them, it was in that tonation that, oh, they care and they think I shouldn't go in for something I would lose because it's never happened before.
Okay, breaking that ceiling.
It's never happened before, and I have this very calm personality, you see. So to them, my personality and the portfolio does not correlate, and also because of the way I was interested in student affairs, automatically people already assumed the Women's Commission for me. And there's been conversations already that Fati will contest for Women's Commission. Meanwhile, I've not even said anything to anybody. And so now going back to tell people that no, having to explain to them that I'm female does not mean
you can't.
Yes, so I've never taken it to heart that these people were trying to discourage me, but then they were just looking out for me, thinking that the kind of ecosystem we find ourselves in, that is the GIJ SRC, maybe GIJ may not be ready for a female president. Then I told somebody that you need to make them ready. You know, it was when I even started campaigning that I realized that all of these things were just constructs. All of these things about women leading and that the school not being ready, it was just a construct because most of my engagement with students was more centered around what we can do for them, what they want, how to make the SRC great. There's not been that conversation that somebody says to me that because you are female, I don't think you can do the job.
Okay.
There's never been that conversation, and I've come to understand that honestly all of these things are just constructs that we believe in, that, oh, and I do not blame me or the students or even anybody, all of us here. It is the kind of orientation we have. It is the orientation we had growing up as Ghanaians that, you know, right from the house, you wake up in the morning, you as a male, you are getting ready to go to school, but then the younger sister is cooking. She is sweeping. You know, it is not your fault that you just wake up and go to school, and it's not your sister's fault too. That
it is always at home also.
It is a society we find ourselves in. So we women, for instance, we grow up with that, oh, this is my place. This is for men only. And the men are also made to believe that they are natural born leaders. Meanwhile, nobody actually stated and wrote and signed that this is what it's supposed to be.
So there are more or less conventions that have been...
I think it is just a social construct that we've made to believe. And that is the thing about constructs. We all believe in it somewhere, and it becomes a reality. So I realized that no, the GIJ needed a paradigm shift. the population were women, and the 80% of the GIJ population.
Yes,
and
mostly.
I've not had that conversation whereby it'd be like, because you are female, I want to vote for you. What made me happy during the campaign, one of the things that kept me going was that sometimes I go to the hostels and I have this female saying, Fati, I'm so happy that you are doing this. I've wanted to do this. I've been wanting to try something like this, but I can't because of the backlashes and things. But this thing you are doing is really motivating me. So even days when I was tired, that like, this thing, am I really sure it's for me? You visit them and the things they say to you, like, no, it's gotten to the point that it is not just you, but all of the females are looking up to you.
All their hopes were tied to yours.
Yes. If I tell you on Friday after the results were declared, I had girls coming up to me that I'll contest next year for this position. I'm like, go for it. I'll contest for this. I'll contest for. So I realized that we have girls that really want to do this, capable, competent, but they are scared because they feel, oh, there's a society they're coming from. What is going to be said? Trust me, nobody will say anything. Just go there and do your best. And
now you've done it. How did your family actually take this? First of all, you did something historic. First, in the first place, you go to tertiary, unlike your other sisters, because of your brother. But when you won this, how did they receive the news?
My family, they were very happy. You see, after I got to tertiary, after I started tertiary, I got them to understand that this thing I'm doing is not bad. And I started tertiary. My cousin also started, my female cousin.
Okay.
And then, like, it's become now, it's normal for, like...
You're more or less like a trailblazer in your family now.
You understand. So my family has come to understand, and they've been supportive even before the election. And during the election, my family were supportive. They would call to check up, is there something we need to do? And on Friday, they called.
Okay.
That's yes. So for me, if I want it, I'll get it done. And
who was the first person who called you from home, or who you spoke to from home?
I called my brother.
Your brother? Okay, your brother was the one who took you to school.
Yes, I called him.
What did he tell you?
For him, throughout the campaign, whenever I call him that this thing is getting hard, like, you win, don't worry. You have
just
all
kept
the
assuring
things.
you.
Yes. So when I called him, I was like, I told you so. I told you you have this. So yes, he was the one that I called first.
It was a great feeling. Interesting. Now, women empowerment. I want to know what you think, apart from the few stories you've shared about how even there have been young ladies in school who have come up to you to tell you that because of what you've done, they want to do this or that in the following year. Do you think that even with all that we're experiencing now, the new wave, as I call it, we are doing enough, or we are getting to that point where women are empowered enough to take up or break ceilings where we describe as male-dominated and all that? Do you think we are getting to that point, or we are at that point?
I'd say you are getting to that point.
Okay.
A lot has been done when it comes to women empowerment, but I think a lot more needs to be done. So I observe these trends where, especially when we go for seminars, that right in that room, all of the girls, they are empowered. All of them would develop some sort of zeal to make the change, to make a step. But the moment they leave, if there's no continuity, how to start becomes a problem.
Again.
And you see, aside from just sitting and then sharing our stories to tell them that, oh, I've done it, you can also do it. We should be interested in equipping them to be competent. We should be interested in teaching them how these things are done. In an industry of, let's say, if it's the media industry, we should teach them how to write stories. We should teach them how to record, how to edit. You see, not just empowering them, but teaching them how to get the things done, so that when we are having the arguments, it would be on the basis of capabilities and competence. It shouldn't even get to the point that you are female. No. You see, we should be more focused on, like, equipping them to be competent, so that gender or not, we can still fend for ourselves, gender or not, when it comes to the issue of competence. Our girls, because trust me when I tell you that our girls are ready and willing. They just need a little push or how to start, and they're good to go.
Do you have any particular role models that you look up to?
A lot.
Okay, tell me about some of them.
I don't even know how people have one role model, because for me,
You look up to a lot, eh?
a lot of them.
Okay.
A lot of them. I look up to. If I start mentioning names, I don't even think.
Maybe just give us a few. No, in no order at all. I mean, just names.
Okay, so number one person, Joyce Bauer.
Okay.
Michelle Obama.
Okay.
Samira Bao, yeah. Dr. Laurentia, Amma Pratt.
Okay. Yes.
Nana Ba, and Louisa Kwachi Ababiu. She also contested for the GIJ elections. She was, I think she contested 5 years ago before me.
So she's a former student of GIJ?
Yes, and she's been very helpful during my campaign.
Okay.
Because she's done it before, I used to reach out to her. Oh, how do I do this? How do we do this? My role models, I'll go on and on.
On and on. All right. At least we have a list there. And I'm happy that you started with someone who is local. When I say local, I mean someone from back home. You went to the US, came back, and all of that. Now let's project into your reign. Apart from the things you've discussed with the student body and all that, what do you want the students to really expect from you that you would do? Not just living up to your words. Of course, you've told them that. So if you do that, people will say it's deja vu. But how about any other thing that you are hoping that you would be able to bring to the student body at GIJ?
So my main aim is to make their lives easier on campus. And I mentioned here earlier that the whole campaign, it's been their campaign as much as it's been mine. And it's going to be the same thing with the administration. It's like that it is going to be done with them.
Okay.
Because SRC basically means Students Representation Council. So we are representing the students. So whatever it is that will make their lives easier on campus. I mentioned the bus, for instance. I mentioned the studio, for instance. We are looking at getting internship slots for them. And also some of our problems, we have a 5-year plan to solve those problems. We are looking at leveraging on the brand equity of Unimark. It's
a plan from you?
Yes.
Okay, but you are serving for 1 year. So you hope to pass it on?
Project.
Okay.
Yes. We hope to make it a legacy project like that any administration, all of the administrations that would come after me would continue.
Okay.
Because there are some things that cannot be done in a year.
Sure.
We need a continuity plan. And so we'll be leveraging on the brand equity of Unimark SRC. You see, now we are a merger.
Yes.
We are not just GIJ, but we have GIJ, we have NAFTI, and then we have GIL. What we want to do is that when we go for sponsorships, when we go for partnerships, you know, first it used to be just the brand and GIJ. But now it's going to be that we are going to give you that opportunity to advertise with GIJ, NAFTI, and GIL. So instead of having access to just GIJ, which is about 4,000, now you're going to have access to 10,000 students.
From the other campuses as well.
Yes, exactly. Because we've realized that now that we are a major, one way or the other, we would have to have that symbiotic relationship amongst each other. And so we'll be submitting for sponsorships and then bid and hope that, yes.
Now, people know Fati from here as politician, student politician, and all that. But, I mean, away from when you are not busy doing politics or trying to maybe implement some policies and things from your school, what kind of things do you love to do?
I like to read.
Yes, you love to read.
A lot, because...
You love books?
I love books.
What are you reading now?
I'm reading Animal Farm.
Oh.
I mean, I've not read for the past 2 months because of the election and all of that, but knowledge is something that I think nobody can do without. And when you aim to break glass ceilings, you want to be a trailblazer, you need to have knowledge at your fingertips, and the best way to get this is to read.
And we're excited that you've shared your knowledge with us. It's inspiring, and I want to congratulate you once again. I have a daughter, so I'm hoping that my daughter can look up to people like you who are doing amazing things. And we wish you all the very best. We'll be tracking how your reign goes in the next 1 year. And I'm sure that we get to sit down once again to have a conversation.
Definitely.
So again, once again, congratulations on your well-deserved win.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
for having me.
So that has been our conversation with Fati Ali. Fati Ali is GIJ's newly elected SRC president, and she's the first female to have ever achieved that feat. Thank you for joining us. Until another time, this has been Say It Loud here on Ghanaweb TV with me, Etsey Atisu. Be kind to one another.